Bending. Bending will increase the horse's suppleness and proficiency and help to eliminate stiffness. The horse may be bent laterally as well as longitudinally. The lateral bend is easier to obtain and therefore should be practiced first. This bend consists of a regular and even curve from the poll to the tail. The ribs on the inside will be somewhat compressed and the body arched to the outside. Different degrees of this bend are necessary when riding large or small circles or turns in order to enable the horse to perform these exercises not only with suppleness and with his center of gravity below that of his rider, but also with regularity and in full balance. A slight bend to the rein on which the horse is being ridden should always be demanded from a trained horse in an arena when on the straight line. In a lateral bend, the inside leg of the rider is the center round which the horse is bent. As a rule, the horse should be bent only when he is in motion, but to begin with, a young horse may be bent at the halt to introduce him to the rein aids for bending. The lateral bend is correct when the horse is bent in the neck not more than the whole body, and when he flexes at the gullet. Every horse will allow himself to be bent more easily to one side than the other, even exaggerating the bend on this side and making himself stiff on the other. The rider must try, by systematic training, to make his horse equally supple and elastic on both sides. The longitudinal bend is of the utmost importance for suppleness and elasticity of the paces, but should not be attempted until the horse has mastered the lateral bend. It consists of the bending of all three joints of the hind legs, accompanied by the flexing of the gullet equally on both sides. The correct bend of the hind legs must be brought about by all three joints bent equally and of the same degree. If the hocks are only bent, as often the case, the bend will be of little value, and the horse will be prematurely worn out, as in all likelihood it will lead to spavins and through-pins. In this case, in spite of the appearance of activity of the hindquarters, these horses will move with tense and wooden steps, and will be uncomfortable for the rider. Horses with normal conformation will find no difficulty in correctly bending the three joints of the hind legs. Those with overbent hocks, or sickle hocks, will tend to bend this joint too much, to the neglect of the others, which will not become elastic, with the result that the strides will not go sufficiently forward. Horses with straight hocks will have greater difficulty in bending them, and therefore the increased bend should be asked only gradually. The exercises to increase the bend of the joints of the hind legs should not be asked until the muscles and sinews have been strengthened and made supple. Forcing a horse to bend the hind legs before he is properly prepared will lead only to resistance. As a car without springs would give an uncomfortable ride over a bumpy road, so would the movements of the horse be uncomfortable when his hind legs are not properly bent. When all three joints of the hind legs are equally bent, they will develop the elasticity of springs and create the activity of the hindquarters that is necessary for regular movements full of impulsion and brilliance. They will impart suppleness to all paces, which the rider will feel in pleasant movements of his horse. One of the basic requirements of a dressage horse has then been fulfilled. As the horse becomes more supple and the bending of the joints of the hind legs has developed, the proficiency and balance of the horse will be improved. This will be seen in the increased collection and smoother contact with the bit. Although the importance of attention to detail is recognized, the rider must never allow himself to be so absorbed in any one factor that he forgets the whole. Progress must never be one-sided. Every factor must be reviewed to ensure the level progress throughout the whole training. Just as a painter steps back from his easel when working on details to review his entire painting. Before starting a contest, the athlete will give special attention to loosening and suppling up his muscles and joints. In the same way, a rider must supple up his horse by correct bending exercises before demanding more difficult ones. This is even more important with a horse, as he may become tense when hampered by the weight of his rider. These tensions should not be overlooked if suppleness, proficiency, balance, and even stamina are not to be adversely influenced. Moreover, the tension may be the cause of physical damage, for a sharp movement of the horse, if not properly absorbed, may cause contusions. During the entire training, suppling up before the beginning of proper work must be carried out with great care. That is why bending, but not overbending, is so important.